recording a little bit outside now on Friday, November the 22nd. I've got the siding put on the front of the hen house. You see the vegetation's all died back here now, so I said I'd better put that on before spring and vegetation all comes back up there by the windows. You see, I only had 3 windows that size, and so this one, there are other windows here, so I'm going to have to put a smaller window in there, and then I can do all the other stuff around the windows, and they're above the vegetation anyway. So I mentioned my habitat piles. Every once in a while I've seen little birds using this habitat pile several times already. This is a little update on that verjuice video I made. The extra juice that I had, it had pulp right through the juice, if you remember. I'll link the video. And I put it back in the fridge and just let it sit. So I'll bring this up close, and you can see how the pulp is settled down quite thickly to the bottom. Now on this one, you see this stuff up here. This is from where I had put this through the centrifuge juicer. It puts the air bubbles in the pulp. Through the cold press juicer, you wouldn't get that. And that's what was in this bottle, just purely cold press juice. And I was able to just pick up the bottle and slowly pour off this top part. I'm going to get this clear juice here out, and what hindrance that bit up top will have, I don't know. But before I do, this was on sale at Canadian Tire. It's a French press. There's a screen here on the bottom, a very fine screen, to screen out your coffee grounds when you're steeping coffee. You can use it with your loose teas as well. And I thought that might be able to screen out pulp from the verjuice. But no, the pulp is so fine that it would just plug up that screen, and I push hard enough until it would eventually squeeze out around the outside. So that didn't work. So this is the only way I know now. You let it sit, you pour off the stuff that's clear, and then what's not, let it sit for a long time until the most of the pulp is drifted down to the bottom and fairly tight. Now because that is up there, I'm going to pour it through this little strainer to catch any of this that will come out. That bit in the top is acting as a plug. So I'm just breaking it up with the handle of the strainer here. Now, let's try again. So there's a bit of pulp that went right through that strainer, so I got it in the strainer now, and I'm going to pour it out. I'll pour that out, because now I have the plug out. And pour that gently. Watching the compressed pulp in the bottom, making sure that none of that is coming up and out into your bottle. Now at this point you can see a little bit of clear on the top still, but if I continue on, that pulp is going to come out and flow out into my bottle, so I'll have to end right there. So that's what I got. That's nice and clear. It's actually clearer than the original bit that I got. Yesterday I put some of this in my travel mug and mixed it with sugar and water like I do with the lemon juice, and it was good. I like the lemon juice better, but it was still good. And considering that I can actually grow grapes and I can't grow lemons, then I can make this for myself. It basically tastes like your raw grapes. Before the cold wet weather came in, I harvested the rest of those mustard seed pods. This is what I got out of it. Now, as I zoom in here, you can see that there's a lot of green seed in it. So it would be useless to keep that for planting next year, so I'm not going to put it in with the rest. But I think it should be able to be used as a spice. So my plan is to make powder out of this, grind it, and see about making a prepared mustard. But that will be in a separate video by itself. Thyme that stays green like that all winter. Spring comes and there'll be a snow all around, and you'll see this hole with a spot of green in it. Same goes for this little guy over here. I don't know about the lavender. At some point this catnip will finish dying, along with the bronze fennel. Surprising though, it's still alive. And the parsley. See how you got, this is the hardier plant, right? You got your savory there. The one oregano is looking like it's fading away. This one over here is still looking strong. The chives are all gone. Nice, interesting thing. This is a butterhead lettuce. It is still actually fairly good if I wanted to. I mean, that's a nice strong leaf. Very tasty too. Interestingly enough, the one that I cut the head off, see that? It's all died. St. John's Wort not dead yet. The lettuce among the chickweed. Chickweed, of course, is still alive. That won't die until we get really cold weather. But the lettuce, and I could get some lettuce out of this. It's looking the worse for wear, as we say, but I could still get some. And I could get a few Swiss chard leaves still. As for the cole crops, as you know, they're one of the more hardy plants. Red cabbage, you got some beautiful leaves there. This is a green cabbage here. Got a little head started there, but it pretty much single leaves if I wanted to get some cabbage leaves. There's 3 of them here. And of course, when you get into the broccoli, the leaves on the broccoli are just as good as the leaves on the cabbage, if you're just looking for cold crop leaves. I think it's a little bit late now for the cauliflower to be trying to sprout ahead, isn't it? As I walked over here, these cabbage here, they had gotten eaten with the bugs. As I say, better to get them into perch shade and more moisture. But the broccoli, yeah, that's broccoli. I think that one's a cauliflower, but anyway, as you can see, there's still some very strong leaves. And there's some small leaves of kale that I could harvest if I wanted to. The Brussels sprouts didn't do much. A lot of people, they break off those leaves that sticks out by the Brussels sprouts. So next year, I think I'm going to do the same. I'm going to watch them, and as they start, I'll just clip off the leaf that is beside the sprout. I won't tear it off like that. Over here is the Ford Oak Giant. I came out here 2 or 3 days and this was laying so limp after a frost of like -3 and -5 Celsius. But yet, there's an occasional leaf that didn't really revive, but these, they revived. There's one there. There's another plant over there. And this is something I've been waiting for. And I'm just wondering now if I should just come out and cut them anyway. Last year I waited for the plant to die and then I cut it all off. It's not, see, it was trying to produce strawberries right up to the very end. And these are strawberries that didn't get ripe and they froze. You see? So there's actually quite a few of those here. I had picked all the ripe ones. And I don't know if I mentioned this yet. I have asparagus here. And in the spring they're going to move over with the pine berries. I'm nervous about how high I left these parsnips sticking out of the ground. So I got some of this grass clippings I had there, and I'm going to put over the top of them to make sure that we don't get a abnormal dip and the top freeze and then ruin them like the carrots were ruined last year. And in a few minutes I'm going to plant some rows of parsnip right here. 3 or 4 rows. So what's happening here? It's been frosting cold. I haven't been over here. Oh my goodness. Look at all the pods that are broke open. I'm going to have like 1,000 cabbage plants growing here next year. Then over on this one, see how they're all breaking open? To make matters worse, look at this. They're sprouting. See all those cabbage plant sprouts? Wow. I'm going to come out and see what I can harvest. Or should I? I'm on 2 minds about that. But that's amazing, eh? They're sprouting even now in the fall, still sitting in their pod. I leave the plants in there for the winter. I don't pull them out until the spring anyway, because that way most of the root system will die off over the winter, and then you're just pulling up the most of the above ground stuff. But with respect to the sunflowers, I'm hoping that it will be feed for the birds. Now there's been no bird at this one yet, even though it looks like it had finished because there's no petals here. You see, when you're harvesting sunflowers, then they need to be completely finished. I know for sure that this one was finished, but there's no sign of, well, maybe right there, birds pecking at it. Now, you see, this one has got petals on it, as well as this one. They weren't finished anyway. Oh, a bird got that one. This one was finished. So these, I don't know what they'll do, if they'll try over the winter or not, but the shock in this, if you took that, you'd just get seed shocks. You wouldn't get any seed. Well, I left them all here, like I said, in hopes that it would be a feed for the birds over the winter. The smoke bush, as I said in the past, it needs to be wrapped for the winter or it won't produce any blossoms. I didn't wrap it very well last year. This year I got it wrapped much better. So hopefully next summer you'll see what a purple smoke bush looks like with some really nice blossoms on it. I'm guessing that that was a snowshoe hare that helped itself to the leaves on that. I think it was a cauliflower that was here. See, I bring it in a little closer. Well, I really didn't expect to record as much today, but it looks like I probably got enough for a outdoor video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video.